All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go from Donnington Park. Wessel Stevens and Avery Walker on the front row. Giancarlo and Nick Sorensen have the second row. Adam Barker and Zach Bache on the third row. David Garman and Mike Marshall in the fourth. Roman Berg rounds out the field. Drivers stack up on track. Good deal, Zach. Looks like everybody is on the grid. They will go through the S's here. This track is fairly tight. Not the tightest when they race at, but it is a pretty tight track. But because of the flowing nature and the way the track is laid out, there are lots of opportunities to pass. So we could see a lot of position changes here today. Dazzy is ready to go. Me too, buddy. All right, they head off into the final turn. This is the Grand Prix circuit, so that longer extension up top. Now here they come. Pace car dove to pit road. Wessel has fired. Green flag is in the air. They are away at Donnington. Giancarlo back in the car, already on the attack, up to second. Mike Marshall had a problem early on, has dropped to the tail end. The Corvette will have to fight its way back to the front. Worth mentioning, Mike Marshall has been on a tear all season long in that Corvette. Currently sits 5th in points and does lead the amateur division as well. Wessel continues to lead some long straightaways here. Definitely going to be a little bit harder for the Porsches that lack the straight line speed. But the tight turns will benefit the Porsche. And we'll see how the two Acuras do this morning. Wessel out front, Sorensen also in an Acura. Out of the final turn across the start-finish line, Wessel will lead lap 1. Zach Bache is around back behind. Let's take a look at some of the early incidents. There comes Mike Marshall into that first turn. Cold tires, just not enough grip and overshoots. And we see Zach on the attack in the McLaren this morning. Through the final turn, just loses rear grip and goes around. And Roman Berg battling with Mike Marshall had a problem a moment ago. Berg just overshoots into the grass, but does manage to hold on. Wessel still up front, but Giancarlo nipping on his heels. Coming into today, Adam Barker continues to lead the points, although Avery has been chopping away. Avery just set the fastest lap in third, Barker in fourth. With 3 races left to go after today, Avery's going to have to step it up to have any shot at the title. Looks like everybody having a little problem with the track limits this morning. Just about everybody has had an off track at this point. They have to be careful. Too many off tracks could send them to pit road for a penalty. Wessel, though, starting to open up a lead as Giancarlo is having to defend against Avery Walker. Avery's season started to turn around a few weeks ago, and he has started steadily marching to the front. Adam back in fourth, Sorensen in fifth, Gourmets in sixth. Roman Berg up 2 spots down to seventh. Mike Marshall has slipped back into eighth. Zach Bayshall in ninth at the moment. And McLaren, though, does have the straight line advantage over most of the cars in the field, but he's gonna have a hard time passing the Corvette on the straightaway. Wessel Stevens out front with clean air, set the fastest lap last time by, 126.33. I have to say, it looks a little cloudy out there this morning. It is overcast, keeping the track and air temps kind of cool. I don't believe we're going to get any rain this morning, but you never know. Giancarlo in second. Man, those skies do look a bit dark. Could we see rain at some point this morning? Unfortunately, none of Team Gunther here this morning, but we've got a few Porsches in the field, and the Porsche does seem to be the dominant car in the rain. Nick Sorensen running that new Acura, trying to reel in fourth place Adam Barker. And you know, it's been a while since I've turned a lap here at Donnington. Let's see, when he comes out of the final turn, let's hop on board with Nick Sorensen and take a ride around with his in-car camera. Very sharp final turn across the start-finish line. Powering down to turn 1, and this is where the track gets fast and flowy. It's a balancing act, keeping your speed up and not losing grip and not going off track. Down the hill, slowing down for the right-hander and about to head back up the hill. You can See, using every bit of the rumble strips as he gets to the far end of the track. Short shoot into the long straightaway. As I mentioned, they are using the Grand Prix circuit, so they'll make the left instead of going through the chicane to the right. Through the left-hand chicane. Back on the power, down the short straightaway. Very sharp right-hand turn, back on the power, and down to the final hairpin. And out of the final turn, Nick Sorensen completes the lap. He did a 1:27.39 that time by. As it looks like Garmin and Roman Berg have both had problems. There's Roman in the white Porsche. That four-car battle at the back heating up. Roman just gets loose out of the turn, goes around. A few moments later, David Garmin just ahead after Mike Marshall got past him. Garmin overshoots way off into the grass and just gives the tires a little kiss. Wessel Stevens has extended his lead, now 2.7 seconds. Avery Walker has had a problem in the final turn. Avery trying to keep it in front of the Audi. Just gets a little too far into the turn, snaps loose. Gets out of the path of the other cars, but loses a lot of ground and a lot of positions. That incident with Avery Walker will definitely have big implications. Adam Barker has now moved up to third. Avery has slipped back into fifth. Remember, Adam is leading the points, but Avery has been closing the gap the last few weeks. Looks like Garmin has gone to pit road for the moment. That final turn has already caught a few drivers out here today. Wessel Stevens out front trying to hold them off. His lead now 4.8 seconds over Giancarlo. Adam Barker currently sits in third. Nick Sorensen now to fourth, Avery in fifth. Zach Bache had that incident out of the final turn on the first lap, has marched his way back up into sixth. He has gotten past seventh place Mike Marshall, but I don't know that that's going to last. Marshall has been attacking all morning. Roman Berg back in eighth. Gourmets sits in ninth on pit road. Like I said in the pre-race, we have not seen Zach Bache on track in well over 6 months. Great to see him back out here, and we'll see how rusty he is this morning. Mike Marshall staying right in his tire tracks. Remember, that Corvette does have the power and the straight line advantage over most of the field, but as we saw all last season, man, that McLaren just has a ton of speed. Avery Walker, who went back to 5th a few moments ago after that catastrophic final turn, is gaining ground on 4th place. Nick Sorensen, in fact, the last couple laps, he has been the fastest car on track. Can he reel any of them in? He is way, way behind, but he is gaining ground quickly. Don't forget, it is a doubleheader, and the top 7 will invert. So as of right now, Mike Marshall will start on the pole for race 2. That'll also move Wessel back into 7th. He has had a dominant run so far this morning, almost a 5-second lead. Even more importantly, a 5-second lead over Giancarlo, one of the winningest drivers in NSS history. Points leader Adam Barker back in 3rd is closing the gap on Giancarlo. Sorensen back in 4th, also closing in. Avery Walker now just 3.5 seconds behind Sorensen. He is full send here this morning. Top 4 cannot afford to make a mistake here. Points leader Adam Barker sitting in 3rd. Nice to see the Audi back on track with Hello Kitty on the hood. Wessel's lead has started to shrink just a little bit. Giancarlo now 4.5 seconds back. Avery still trying to close the gap as well. 3.3 seconds back. He is still gaining on Sorensen, but not as quickly. Does seem like the top 4 have stepped up the pace just a little bit late in this one. Roman Berg, after his early problems, slipping back into 8th place. Mike Marshall in 7th, still on Zach's back bumper. Avery in fifth, just 3 seconds behind Sorensen at the moment. He continues to gain ground on the Acura ahead. Folks, don't forget, after the races this morning, make sure you go check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and the YouTube. We have been posting a lot of YouTube shorts here lately. A lot of great racing content, a lot of great trucking shorts, and even some funny shorts from playing Sniper Elite. The white flag flies one more time around for Wessel Stevens. He's got a 4.7 second lead. He just needs to keep it on the track. Giancarlo back in second, has 2 seconds at the moment on Adam Barker in third. Sorensen currently, Sorensen wickedly out of shape, and that has given Avery the opportunity. Avery now to fourth. That got a little spicy. Avery able to make up a little bit of ground here late. As Wessel heads for the final turn here at Donnington, he will pull off the win. Wessel Stevens wins race 1 at Donnington. Giancarlo coming home in second. Adam Barker comes home in third, and in style. And let's see if we can get a word with our top three before race 2. Adam, great job. You came home in third in what proved to be, for you at least, an uneventful morning.
Yeah, it was a surprising turn of events there. The guys went super early at the start and I think Nick was caught a little bit napping. So managed to get an easy space there, and just trying to keep up with the top three was hard. So it was a good sight when we saw Avery pointing the wrong way.
Well, it definitely helps in the points too. He's been gaining a little bit of ground on you over the last few weeks, but you beat him today. That's going to help.
Yeah, definitely. I think we're about even with drop weeks, so we'll have to see what we can do in the second race. Hopefully, we can stay ahead of him again.
Well, congratulations, great finish.
Thank you very much.
Giancarlo comes home in second. Well, welcome back, Giancarlo, but a big surprise to not be talking to you from Victory Lane. What happened?
Yeah, I didn't have the pace today. Wessel had it locked in. So he really put on a good show.
He definitely did, and I mean, it seemed like late in the race you really started to gain some ground on him. Was it just a matter of your tires in better shape, and will it come into play in the second race?
We'll see. I didn't really have any practice before today, so I'm kind of practicing as we go. So maybe in the full race we'll make that, or we'll show that, and have some more pace.
Well, good luck. Definitely an awesome first run. Congrats.
Thanks, Doug.
Giancarlo, with no practice, comes home in second, and our winner, Wessel Stevens. Wessel, you caught him napping at the start. You took off, and nobody could touch you.
Yeah, it was a good tactic from the start. I caught him by surprise, so it worked out very well. Managed to make a gap from the beginning and extend that gap throughout the race. So perfect race.
It definitely was a perfect race. I have to ask, it seemed like Giancarlo was gaining ground on you late in the race. Was the Acura having tire wear issues late in it?
Yeah, of course, tire wear was playing a part, but I'm also was taking a little bit less risk. I have a little bit of history of spinning the car, so I try to avoid that now if I have to get.
Definitely a great strategy. Now you have to come through 7th. Obviously, you're the fastest out here this morning. Can you get through the traffic and pull away in a dominant win in race 2?
Let's hope so. I think I have a chance, so let's see what the others do.
Well, congratulations, bud. A great way to start the morning.
Thank you, man.
Wessel Stevens wins race number 1, but now just a minute and a half to race 2. The top 7 will invert. Mike Marshall will start on the pole, and that pit entry we saw Adam take is a big concern for the drivers here this morning. Heard several drivers talking about it this morning, the concern with that pit road entry here at Donnington. Hey, good morning, Kevin. I actually believe I overheard in pre-race he pulled off a top 5 in the Daytona 500 this week, so how are you this morning, Kevin? That pit road entry coming out of that final turn, things are going to get very exciting depending on the pit strategy. If drivers are close together and the lead car dives it into pit road, if the car behind isn't aware, just misses by an inch, they could send that lead car into the wall. Race 2 with more strategy and pit stops, definitely going to be an exciting one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race 2. Mike Marshall and Zach Bache will have the front row. Nick Sorensen, Avery Walker on the second row. Adam Barker and Giancarlo on the third row. Wessel Stevens, Roman Berg, and David Gorman round out the field. Don't forget tonight, BRR is off, but SMR will be live at 9:30 Eastern tonight. More great racing to come. Few of the drivers putting a little heat into the tires. David Gorman did not grid. Mike Marshall will be in control of the start. Will he catch everybody napping like Wessel did in race 1? Let's find out. Pace car dives to pit road. And green flag is in the air. They are away. Mike Marshall to the lead. Wessel already attacking 3 wide into 1. Holy cow, both Acuras around. Wessel Stevens, Avery Walker problems. Mike Marshall holds on to the lead. Zach right on his bumper. Nick Sorensen, Adam Barker, and 3rd and 4th, Roman Berg and Giancarlo Curley, 5th and 6th. Giancarlo's got the run. Giancarlo now to 5th. Meanwhile, Wessel way back behind. Along with Avery Walker, they've got some ground to make up. Mike leads them into the final hairpin and will lead lap 1. As we mentioned in race 1, Mike has been on a tear this season. Could today be the day he gets back to victory lane? Let's take a look at those lap 1 incidents. Here they came, 3 wide. Oh! Avery tried to cut down, came across the nose of the Acura. Looking down from the blimp, Wessel tries to make the move into turn 1, dives it in there, but bounces off the Acura as well and goes around. A bumpy start to race 1 or race 2. And Zach Bache has had a problem back behind. There's Zach up battling for the lead. Ian might get in there, and Zach just overshoots. Take a look at this from a different angle, see if there was any contact between the two. I don't believe there was. Zach just goes wide, gets the grass, and loses a lot of ground. Wessel Stevens has the fastest lap so far, back in 7th. He is closing in on the field ahead. Avery Walker staying in his tire tracks. Nick Sorensen has taken the lead. Mike Marshall has slipped back into 3rd as points leader Adam Barker into 2nd. Giancarlo now up into 4th. Zach Bache still holding on with the lead group in 5th. Giancarlo on the attack as they go off into 1. Oh! Oh no! Giancarlo's car gets a wee bit of damage in the battle with Mike Marshall. There you see Mike on the outside. Oh, he just gets a little bit of dirt and bangs into Giancarlo. And Giancarlo's car is broke. He lost the front clip. Avery Walker definitely on the attack as he slides by Zach Bache. Avery already back to 5th and sets his sights on 4th place, Mike Marshall, and he may get the run down into turn 1. Side by side into 1, Avery on the inside. Mike able to use that Chevy power, pulls ahead. Zach Bache tried to capitalize, but couldn't get to the inside. Adam Barker set the fastest lap last time, 127.05. Mike Marshall and Zach Bache have had a problem back behind. A 4-car battle back here for position. Oh! Did Avery get into Mike's bumper and send him around? Oh, Avery just gives Mike a little bit of a love tap, and Zach has nowhere to go. Zach Bache has come to pit road, likely just heading in for a quick repair. Wow, that McLaren took a bit of a beating. Speaking of taking a beating, Giancarlo still out there in 3rd, but that not having the front clip has got to be impacting the handling of the car. Adam Barker, meanwhile, on Sorensen's bumper. Mike Marshall also came to pit road, got the car fixed. Zach is back out on track. Mike Marshall is. Hey, good morning, Nishi. How are you? Thanks for the lurk, buddy. Always appreciated. Avery Walker, who was involved in that turn 1, lap 1 incident, has fought his way back to 4th so far, has the fastest lap, is the only driver under the 127 mark at the moment, and is right on Giancarlo's back bumper. Nick Sorensen, Adam Barker have a big gap, 3¼ seconds on Giancarlo. Avery Walker and Wessel Stevens right there. Roman Berg back in 7th, Zach Bashan 8th, Mike Marshall back to 9th. Adam staying right on Sorensen's back bumper, looking for an opportunity. As we said during pre-race, this track has a lot of places to make a move. Just a matter of picking where you want to do it and setting up for it. Avery Walker now to 3rd, Wessel to 4th. Giancarlo has drifted back to 5th. I suspect as soon as Giancarlo is within his fuel window, we'll see him on pit road to get that car fixed. Nick Sorensen and Adam Barker have a 3.6 second lead, but Avery has the fastest lap this morning and is on maximum attack. He's been consistently faster than the top 2, and he has plenty of time to run him down. Giancarlo did manage to get back past Wessel for the moment, but turns like that won't help. Looks like he got a slowdown. Wessel slides by. The top 2 have to be worried. Avery now less than 3 seconds behind. He is closing in. Mike Marshall is back on pit road. Wessel Stevens back into 4th, Giancarlo into 5th. Roman Berg back in 6th, is closing the gap on Giancarlo, but he is 7.5 seconds back. He's gonna have to pick the pace up. Avery continuing to chop away at the lead, at the top 2 and the gap to them. Last time by, he was 0.7 of a second faster than Barker and Sorensen. Wessel Stevens back in fourth, 3 seconds behind Avery. He was the fastest in race 1. Does he still have some of that speed? Can he run down the top 3? Giancarlo back in 5th, still running with that damage from the incident with Mike Marshall. Hey, good morning, Pudsey. The gap from Avery to the top 2, now 2.2 seconds. He continues to be as much as half a second a lap faster. Meanwhile, out front, Sorensen has put a little bit of space between him and Barker, about 3/4 of a second. And Avery now just 1.5 seconds behind Barker. Remember, these are the two battling for the points. Giancarlo still limping it around in 5th with that damage. Nick Sorensen has started pulling a gap on Barker. Now 1.25 seconds ahead. Avery in 3rd, now just over 1.25 seconds behind Barker. Wessel Stevens in 4th, has pulled away from Giancarlo, but is not gaining any ground on Avery. Roman Berg back in 6th, has really closed the gap on Giancarlo, now just 9.9 seconds back. And Avery Walker has caught up to Adam Barker. Not only is that the battle for 2nd, that is the battle for the championship. Adam Barker working on, I believe, his 8th title. And Avery Walker trying to get his 1st. Zach Page has had a problem back behind. Looks like he has towed it in. Zach trying to recover from the earlier incident. And that final turn claims another victim. Avery all over Adam's bumper. You heard Adam talking about it earlier. He is watching the points closely. One pass here could be the deciding factor of the championship. It has been close between these two for several weeks now. And while they battle, Nick Sorensen has pulled out to a 2.1 second lead. Wessel Stevens has also started to gain some ground back in fourth. He's about 4.7 seconds back and closing that gap. Giancarlo came to pit road a moment ago. He has got the car fixed. He is now back in sixth. Wessel Stevens is in. Now what can Giancarlo do with the car being fixed? Wessel rolling off pit road. The battle for second has taken the tempo up just a little bit. Adam Barker and Avery Walker are closing back in on Nick Sorensen. Hudsy, I was looking at that earlier on in the race and I couldn't figure it out, but now that you mention it, the handheld Hoover, Avery Walker has come to pit road. He is taking tires. Nick Sorensen's lead now 1.9 seconds. Roman Berg is in. Avery Walker on his way out. Adam still holding 1.9 seconds back. Avery off pit road maintains third. Any mistake on pit road for the top two, and Avery Walker will run him down. The top two continue to stay out. Giancarlo, after repairs and as pit stop cycle through, is back up into fourth. And believe it or not, he is closing in on Avery in third. Looks like Nick Sorensen and Adam Barker, the top two, are the only two who have not completed their pit stops yet. It'll be interesting to see what strategy these two take. Any loss of time on pit road puts Avery back in the fight. Sorensen, they both stay out. Sorensen has started pulling away again. His lead now 2.4 seconds. Giancarlo back in fourth, was gaining ground on Avery, but has now slipped back 5.3 seconds. And Wessel Stevens in fifth is closing in. Mike Marshall now a lap down in seventh. Zach Bay still on pit road. Nick continues to stay out, as does Adam. Avery is the fastest car on track at the moment. He is gaining ground on the top two. When they come to pit road, he may have gained enough to take the lead. Sorensen is led from the first lap. Just over halfway through lap 2, Sorensen out front with a 2.5 second lead. And here comes the leader. Sorensen is in. Barker tried to get in. He missed the entry to pit road. That could be a huge problem for Adam Barker. Adam has taken the lead, but lost some time trying to get into pit road. Zach, you'll get it next week, buddy. Sorensen makes it off pit road ahead of Avery Avery Walker by about 3 seconds at the moment. And we'll likely see Barker on pit road this time. Barker out of the final turn. He will make it in this time. Nick Sorensen should reclaim the lead here in just a moment. Adam is on his way out, but not early enough. Sorensen back to the lead. Giancarlo is back on pit road. Adam Barker somehow managed to hold on to second. Avery 1.3 seconds back in third. And Nick Sorensen a 2-second lead at the moment. Avery closing back up on second place, Adam Barker. Wessel Stevens in fourth, about 8 seconds back. Roman Berg back in fifth. Mike Marshall in sixth, and Giancarlo has retired from the race. Seeing Giancarlo retire, very odd. I don't know that we have ever seen him retire. That moves Mike Marshall now up into sixth place. And Avery still lurking just behind Barker. Nick Sorensen's lead about 2 seconds at the line. Adam Barker definitely picking the pace up, trying to close in on the leader, and more importantly, trying to keep Avery in his mirror. Adam has definitely stepped the pace up. He is now 1.7 seconds behind Nick and closing in. Avery Walker still lurking, about 7/10 back. But Nick Sorensen out front every time he looks in the mirror. He sees an Audi getting closer and closer. We saw Wessel Stevens in race 1, lost a little ground late in the race, a little bit of it due to tire wear in the Acura. Could the tires on Sorensen's car be going away faster than on Barker and Avery? Acura, Audi, Porsche, the top three. A lot of back and forth in the gaps between the top three, depending on where they are on the track. But Sorensen has started to pull away again just a little. Sorensen opening the lead back to 2 seconds for the moment. Avery right back to the bumper on Barker. Nick Sorensen just set his fastest lap of the morning. Mike Marshall back in 6th, has had some problems with track limits that have cost him a little bit of time. He was gaining on 5th place Roman Berg for a few moments, but a few off tracks have sent him back. Through the hairpin, Avery gains a lot of ground in the Porsche. But it does appear on corner exit, the Audi seems to have a bit of an advantage, but Avery almost got the setup. Mike Marshall has come to pit road unexpectedly. Avery staying within striking distance of Adam Barker. Both drivers closing the gap on the leader, Nick Sorensen. Wessel Stevens back and forth. Roman Berg in 5th. Mike Marshall is back out on track in 6th. If Avery's got something for Barker, he better do it soon. Less than 8 minutes to go. He's been in Adams Tire Tracks for most of this race. Avery right on Barker's bumper, but just cannot make the move. He may just have to dive it off into a turn to have an opportunity. Will the lap car of Roman Berg just ahead come into play? They still set 1.7 seconds behind Sorensen. Once Avery makes their move, they're going to lose some ground to the leader. Sorensen coming into lap traffic ahead. Could that have an impact on the battle going on behind? Will it draw those two even closer? The Audi definitely seems to power out of that final turn just a bit better. Roman moves over, lets the top three get by clean. Sorensen's lead still holds 1.8 seconds. The battle is still on behind. Does Avery have anything left for Adam Barker? We'll likely see the white flag next time by. If Avery has anything left, he's got to use it soon. Sorensen leads them down. They may not get the white flag this time. We'll have to wait and see. No, they do not get the white flag this time. So at least 2 more laps to go. Can Avery do anything in the final 2 laps? They have closed up to about 1.4 seconds behind Sorensen. Adam definitely pushing it, trying to get back to the front. Sorensen at the front can take it a little bit easier, let him reel him in. These two are having to push to the absolute limit, trying to get there. The gap still holds at 1.5 seconds. As the white flag is out, one more time around for Nick Sorensen. Does Barker have anything left to close the gap? Does Avery have anything left to take second? Nick Sorensen's lead now down to 1.3 seconds. Avery not showing any signs of setting up for the attack. Adam just 1.1 seconds back, not a lot of track left. He is gaining, but may not have enough time. Just 2 more turns for Nick Sorensen. Out of the hairpin toward the final hairpin. Sorensen still has a 1 second lead. And out of the final turn, Nick Sorensen will get the win at Donnington. Adam Barker comes home in second. And Avery Walker finishes in third. Let's talk to our top 3, starting with Avery. Avery, it really looked like you were faster than Adam, just couldn't find a place to get it done.
Yeah, I couldn't quite get close enough. Also had a lot of incidents. I finished the race with 16 out of 17. So basically, the only way to do it would be to do it super cleanly, and Adam never made big enough of a mistake to make that happen.
Well, you still managed to come home in third. You get another podium, but the points stay close.
Yeah, I was 10 points ahead of him coming in, and now we'll probably be pretty much dead even.
Well, it's definitely going to make for an interesting final 3 weeks, man. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
Definitely going to be close. Adam Barker comes home in second. Adam, the last 2 laps, you just kept attacking, closed down a lot of it on Sorensen, but just couldn't get there in time.
Yeah, I think Nick was just backing off there a little bit. He knew he'd got the enough gap, so he was just keeping it clean, making sure he didn't get any slowdowns or any off tracks or any time loss. So yeah, Nick was super quick. Couldn't quite keep up with him. Well, it was just I could keep up with him, but just out of draft, so I wasn't able to save any fuel or do anything with the strategy there. So I just had to come out, hopefully have enough fuel and just carry on. But yeah, Nick was flawless today. Avery was keeping me honest as well there behind.
Yeah, he definitely made you work for it, but you held him off, man. Congratulations, an awesome battle.
Yeah, thank you very much. Well needed points win against Avery as well. So that's what we want. That's what we're coming out for.
Well, great job, buddy.
Thank you.
And finally, our winner, Nick Sorensen. Nick, that last lap, Adam was charging and charging and charging, but it just couldn't get there in time. You managed to hold him off and get the win.
Yeah, that was pretty nerve-wracking. I was watching the time, trying to just hold a steady lead there. I didn't want to push too much to make a mistake, but I wanted to make sure I had a gap. So the last lap, I made sure to bring it home safe.
Well, it definitely paid off. A big win at Donnington and an awesome morning overall, buddy. Congratulations.
Yeah, it was a great morning. Good job to everybody. Thanks, Doug.
Nick Sorensen gets the win at Donnington. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, and the YouTubes. And don't forget tonight, 9:30 Eastern, SMR is back. We'll see you all tonight. Have a great one, everybody.